Millie Ball here to catch you up on the week at HRTV.
Bet looking at Lucky, first dude, and you want to twist on the outside. You're looking at Lucky. You're looking at Lucky in the Preakness.
And it's all Geronimo with a dominating performance today. Geronimo and Rafael Bejarano could not have been more impressive. They win it easy.
Evening Jewel, it's tea time. Evening Jewel hangs on to take it by a head from a back.
But Costa Freedom inside the final 16, still leads by 3. Got to go in, cannot catch Cost of Freedom.
Aspolo Won't Tell has now taken the lead for Sean Bridgman. Aspolo Won't Tell wins the Cardinal Handicap.
Amen, hallelujah. And Julian LeParoux coming home strong to win the Devona Dale.
Calbreds versus Florida Breds. The best Calbred ever in your opinion?
Swaps. I saw him run back in the 50s. I did.
What are you, 90?
No, 80.
The best Florida bred ever.
Dr. Fager, fastest horse of all time. Not the best horse, the fastest.
The fastest horse. All right, and so we've got the best Calbred, the best Florida bred. Where's the best place to watch this Sunshine Millions?
I would think HRTV, unless you're at the track.
At the track is the best.
Jeff Siegel took a closer look at who he considers the best Florida and Calbreds of all time.
For raw, unbridled speed, Dr. Fager may have been the fastest thoroughbred in racing history. Of course, it's a claim that can never be substantiated, but the evidence for such a bold proclamation is impressive indeed. A winner of 18 of 22 career starts while racing for the Tartan stable and trainer John Nayrud, Florida-bred Dr. Fager was considered as a 3-year-old to be too immature to participate in racing's Triple Crown. And in fact, he did not fulfill his greatness until his incredible 4-year-old campaign. It was in 1968 that Dr. Fager challenged and dismantled some of the greatest sprinters and handicap horses of that decade.
Dr. Fager Racing Room coming at him along the rail. Here they come, spinning out.
And in doing so, he ran faster than any horse in history. Dr. Fager's world record performance of 1 minute 32 1/5 seconds under 134 pounds in the Washington Park Handicap was nothing short of incredible.
100 yards to come, and Dr. Fager is all by himself. 8, 9, Dr. Fager by about 10 lengths. May we draw your attention to the running time, the mile in 1:32 1, which is a new world record.
He also won the Vosburg Handicap at 7 furlongs in track record time of 1 minute 20 1/5 seconds while carrying a staggering 139 pounds. But Dr. Fager also could carry his speed a classic distance, as he showed when beating Hall of Famer Damascus in the 10-furlong Woodward Stakes. And just for kicks, he made a mockery of the grass division in his only career start on turf, winning the United Nations Stakes under 134 pounds while toying with Fort Marcy, despite giving that Hall of Famer 16 pounds in weight.
It's Dr. Fager in front by 2.5 lengths. Game leader.
When all the votes were tabulated at year's end, Dr. Fager was named Champion Handicap Horse, Champion Sprinter, Champion Turf Horse, and Horse of the Year. No Florida bred, no Calbred, in fact, no thoroughbred in the history of the sport has ever accomplished as much in a single season of racing as Dr. Fager did in 1968. Foaled in 1952 at Rex Ellsworth's farm in Chino, California, Swaps was precocious enough to win his racing debut in May of his juvenile season. But it wasn't until the following winter as a newly turned 3-year-old that the Golden Chestnut began to capture the hearts of West Coast racing fans. After his victory in the Santa Anita Derby, Swaps carried the provincial pride of his backers to Kentucky to take on the Beast of the East, Nashua, in a rivalry that would eventually reach the proportions of Seabiscuit and War Admiral. Round 1 went to Swaps as he and regular rider Willie Shoemaker bravely outdueled Nashua in the run for the Roses, but owner Ellsworth and trainer Mesh Tenney decided to pack up and go home after his Derby score, forsaking a Triple Crown bid and leaving the easy pickings of the Preakness and Belmont to Nashua. Swaps and Nashua would go at each other mano a mano in a match race at Arlington Park. But unlike Seabiscuit's great triumph over War Admiral, this time it was the Eastern colt who prevailed, as Nashua scored by more than 6 lengths. Suffering from a bad foot that severely compromised his chances, Swaps should not have run, but Ellsworth, a true sportsman, let the show go on, and Swaps paid the price. Put away until the following winter, 1956, Swaps developed into a super freak. It was the year he became champion handicap horse and horse of the year, and the year that he would set 4 world records, equal another world record, and set 2 other track records. Amazingly, in all but one of these races, Swaps carried at least 130 pounds. Unfortunately, Swaps went wrong before he could avenge his match race defeat with Nashua, missing a scheduled confrontation with his bitter rival in the Jockey Club Gold Cup in the fall of '56. But Swaps had done enough to ensure his immortality. He retired with a record of 19 victories in 25 starts, winning from distances of 5 furlongs to 1 mile and 5/8. A classic winner, a multiple champion, and a multi-world record holder, Swaps is the greatest California bred of all time, and no other horse is even close.
The 2011 Sunshine Millions at Santa Anita Park featured the Sprint, Turf, and Distaff Stakes.
The horses for the 5th race, the $200,000 Sunshine Million Sprint. Costa Freedom, the leader, not been asked to run yet. Now gets the rein shaken at him. Costa Freedom in front. Amazombi now comes to take him on. A Priority finishing strong in the centre. Costa Freedom's now desperate to hold on. Amazombi's right there. A Priority down the centre of the track. Costa Freedom, Amazombi, A Priority, Amazombi. Look like Amazombi, very close for second. A Priority.
Mike, you have ridden him for every single win of his career. Is there a secret or a trick to him? Why do you get on so well with him?
You know, just some horses, just some riders get along with, and we just get along so well. He's really learned a lot. I'm so proud of him. I really got to take my hat off to Bill and his crew. He used to be real nervous when I first started riding him. Now he's like an old pro. I swear he's like a pony anymore.
Now the race is on at the top of the lane. Precious Passion has come back to the field. The usual QT strikes the front. Coracatado in the green. Geronimo's not doing enough. We come down to 2. The usual QT, Coracatado. Coracatado's the stronger of the 2 as they run to the wire. And it's going to be Coracatado and Joe Talamo to win the Sunshine Millions Turf half a length. Second to usual.
Coracatado came around the turn and had this explosive turn of foot. What did Joe Talamo tell you about?
Not a whole lot. He just said he was dragging him to the 3/8 pole, and at the 3/8 pole he wanted to go, and he's just kind of just sit and wait. And I've kind of always been in Joe's ear about today. He's got that turn of foot. He can make up a lot more ground than you think. So, you know, don't ever call on him too early. On the outside comes Ultra Blend and Lady Rail Rider. Top of the lane in the distaff. Cat is under pressure. Cat comes under a ride. Binova taken now by Amazing, and here's Evening Jewel. Evening Jewel now exploding through on the outside. Amazing is running a big one. A late run down the centre from Ultra Blend. Evening Jewel the leader. Ultra Blend coming fast on the outside. Evening Jewel to win it. Evening Jewel in a driving finish under Victor Espinosa. Close for second. Ultra.
The 9th running of the Sunshine Millions Distaff goes to Evening Jewel. I'm here with the connections. A lot of tears in the winner's circles, a lot of smiles. I'm going to start with Victor Espinosa. Victor, tell me about the paddock incident. It seemed to take you a while to get on her today.
Yeah, she always like that. When she feels good, you know, she's ready to go and she bumps up and down. And you know, as soon as I get on, she's good.
Did you get the trip you wanted?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I had to be able to save ground and the turn, both turns, matter of fact, and cut the turns nice and you finish well.
Zoe Cadman showed her appetite as the food truck festival hit Santa Anita Park on Saturday.
I'm here in the Raging Cajun truck I've got, oh my God, look at that pecan cheesecake. And I'm driving. You know, I can multitask too, Lafitte. What do you think? I bet you want some of this. This is so good. Hold on. I need more hands out here. Not good. Heaven. I've been looking all over the place for Anna, my cameraman, and I can't find her. I've been playing in the food truck. Let's see if we can find her. Oh, would you look at that? Slacker! Slacker, come on, girlfriend, let's go. Raging Cajun too good for you? She can't even talk. She's got a mouthful. We better go. I gotta get some more food, Lafitte. I'm sorry, guys, you're on the set. You lucked out today.
Well, what a difference a day makes, or in this case, a few hundred miles. Richard, I know you, for one, have to be really happy to be in South Florida after this long, cold winter in New York. But what a contrast and what a perfect day for Sunshine Millions.
Perfect day, appropriate weather for Sunshine Millions because it's absolutely glorious in South Florida.
I think it's interesting how the emphasis in this particular event seems to have changed over the years. Obviously, always pitting the best of the California breds against the best of the Florida breds. But now I think the emphasis more on just really good racing, and we have some tremendous lineups.
Yeah, terrific races today, very well matched races, a lot of intrigue, very good horses.
At Gulfstream, Sunshine Millions Day featured the Filly and Mare Turf, Filly and Mare Sprint, and the Classic.
They're into the stretch, and it's a Gian on the outside who's taken a short lead. Feel that fire. Battles on inside of her. On the far outside, Musical Romance. And then coming up the fence is Jessica's Back as they come down to the wire. A Gian and Jessica is back. A Gian and Jessica is back on the wire together.
I tell you, she's gonna be a really good filly sprinting this year, and we're looking forward to having a lot of fun.
You had mentioned Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint as maybe an ultimate target. What would happen before then?
Well, you know, sprinters, I think they need spacing between their races because they put so much into the race. And this filly in particular, like I was telling you earlier, that trip to England took a long while for her to come right back around. That trip really knocked her out. So we'll look at something here in about 6 or 7 weeks from now and try to space her races accordingly about that time frame.
Unbridled Essence has gone by her. Ask But I Won't Tell now makes her run on the far outside. They're into the stretch. Ask But I Won't Tell down the center of the course, and Trip for AJ on the inside. They're 1-2. Trip for AJ at the rail. Ask But I Won't Tell drifts out. Scalara's now third. It is Trip for AJ, and Ask But I Won't Tell. Trip for AJ has won.
Very happy, Milt Wolfson with Trip for AJ, and you have been in this game for quite a while and had some really nice horses along the way, but this has to rank right up there as one of the biggest wins.
She's just something special. You know, she tries hard, runs hard every time. She's easy to get along with. The owner is just a great guy whom I haven't met yet. We've just become great pals over the phone. And, you know, I trained her sister, and it's a great story because Peter gave me this filly because I did so well with her sister, who I claimed off of Peter. You know, in this game, that's usually a no-no where they not only don't talk to you, they try to kill you afterwards, especially when she did so good.
He's only a length and a half off the lead. 3 to Dream Maestro and King Ghidra. Black Hills is being sent along. He's got 7 to make up. Cigar Man is next, and Dry Martini around the far turn. On the outside, it is Duke of Mischief. Tackleberry trying to hang in there. The whip is out on First Dude. Kent DeSormo wants more from him. He's going to come into the stretch 3 wide. They're into the stretch in the Classic. It is still Tackleberry holding off the challenge of Duke of Mischief. First Dude laboring third.
I'm told from people here locally that you were touting this horse all along.
I did. I was, when I win the Hooper, I don't know if you noticed, I said I'm shooting for the million, for the Sunshine Million. And the last time we run him, I want to give him a race on this racetrack first, because you know how it is, you've been here before. This racetrack, some horses need a race on this track. I was trying to work it before the race, and I got sick for 2-3 days, and I couldn't come. I missed a day, so I couldn't come. And I don't let he don't have travel if I don't travel. So that race, he broke bad. Still, I was happy the way he runs. He ran a good race, and I said, well, let's shoot for the other one. you know, and he pay off. I mean, he's a tough little horse, let me tell you, he's tough.
Gulfstream Park also honored the 1994 Florida Derby champion, Holy Bull.
You could feel the build-up and the anticipation, and this is what it's about. Everybody's looking for their Derby horse.
So who caught your eye?
Well, it was a very good-looking group on a whole, but I definitely think the 9-horse dialed in. Nick Zito's horse was just an outstanding-looking individual.
Of course, Nick was hoping for an allowance race. It didn't work out that way with the sloppy track. He ended up scratching. This is not the traditional pattern for Nick Zito horses progressing toward the Triple Crown, but a real test at hand.
And they're into the stretch. Mucho Macho Man, Sweet Ducky to the outside, Black and Beauty along the rail, Gourmet Dinner and Dialed In on the far outside. It's Sweet Ducky in front, Dialed In, finishing fast in the center of the track. Gourmet Dinner is third, Dialed In, and Julian LePeroux have won the Holy Bull.
I had a good feeling because I'm really impressed with Julian's, confidence and the way he rides the horse. And when he got closer, and I was with my wife Kim and the family, and I just said, make sure he comes out. Just make sure he comes out. And to myself, and they all heard me. And when he came out, I was very happy. And I want to say thanks to my help because you can't do this by yourself. And I tell everybody I got a great staff.
3-year-old fillies went postward at Gulfstream for the Grade 2 forward gal.
They're into the stretch, and it's Pomeroy's Pistol with a 2.5-length lead. Third Chance, Dancing in Her Dreams, making a run down the center of the track, has to get to Pomeroy's Pistol. It's Pomeroy's Pistol, Dancing in Her Dreams on the outside coming. Pomeroy's Pistol holding on. Pomeroy's Pistol upsets Dancing in Her Dreams.
In the words of the legendary Terry Wallace, here they come into the short stretch of the mile run, and you're being played on the outside. Challenges Heavenly Appeal. These two are well clear. Heavenly Appeal on the inside. You're being played up alongside. 7 lengths back. Verdon has come from last to get into third. They're coming toward the wire, and Heavenly Appeal digs in gamely on the inside of You're Being Played. Heavenly Appeal beats You're Being Played.
One of horse racing's Ironman streaks came to an end this week when Terry Wallace took off the first race after 2,191 straight.
The only thing that I knew for sure was my father had given me instructions a long time ago that if you come to work every day, it's hard to fire you. So I made up my mind that I was going to come to work every day. But Oakland was a brand new thing for me. It was a real treat. I owed it to the late Chick Anderson for recommending me for the job. And I wanted to make sure that I protected it as best I could. And I've been very fortunate, obviously.
Terry, you've called so many important races at Oaklawn Park over the years. You just mentioned Zenyatta last year. One or two that stand out to you as maybe your favorite races for whatever reason, whether it was just something about that day or that race, one or two that you really stand out in your memory?
Well, I remember Zeri coming back after being Horse of the Year in 2002, and her first start of 2003 was in the Apple Blossom, and she had to catch Take Charge Lady, who was very, very sharp at the time, and got there in the last jump. It was really a dramatic finish. The next year she came back and became the first filly or mare to win the Apple Blossom 3 years in a row. So that certainly was as great a race as we've ever had here. But obviously over a span of 36, 37 years, you're going to see a lot of great races. We've had a lot of horses, a lot of Horse of the Years who have competed here. Cigar was here, and a race they called the Race of the Year back in 1995. So the opportunity to be here at Oaklawn was really great for me. In the middle of the country doesn't see great horses like that very often, so it's a good thing Oaklawn's here.
Terry, when you made the announcement, and we were lucky enough to see it here on HRTV, you were as classy as ever as you set up what was going to happen, and then you handed kind of the microphone over to Frank Miramati to speak for a few moments. When the gate actually opened up and you were downstairs, what was going through your mind emotionally?
Well, I was just happy. I was surrounded by all my friends down there. It was an absolutely gorgeous day, and I have the support of all of those people. So I knew Frank would handle it because Frank is a real pro. And as far as I was concerned, it was just a fun way to spend that time. You know, everything's got to end sometime, and I thought I was the luckiest man in the world to be here in the first place. So I was just very happy to be there and to celebrate that moment with all my friends.
Peter Lurie traveled northwest for the inaugural Portland Meadows Oaks.
Oaks Day here from Portland Meadows, the inaugural running, and we are here with the general manager at Portland Meadows, William Alambievich. thank you so much for having HRTV here to the show.
No, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate the exposure. The title of today's event that we're going with in the local market is a new Rose City tradition. So we're glad that you guys are a part of this big event for us.
No rain so far. Looks like a beautiful afternoon and looks like a pretty good crowd coming in here. You have to be pleased with that.
Yeah, very much so. You know, we don't traditionally run on weekends, and we were hopeful that the local market would support our product if we put on a big event such as today, and it looks like it's starting out very well.
They turn for the stretch now in the Portland Meadows Oaks. Alex Moon Crispin now says go, and she releases the brakes and quickly opens up 4. Chick Power back to second, third is formal plan. Final 16th to go though, and this one is all over. Alex Moon takes the first step to the Black Eyed Susan 2.2. She wins geared down by 6. Formal plan ran a big one to finish second, third.
Jason, you had a tremendous day, no rain. Joe Crispin gets 5 winners. Jerry Hollendorfer, 60%. If he was a baseball player, he'd be batting 600 up here, and he gets the inaugural running of the Oaks.
Yeah, 30% you get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what you get for 60%, but surely the Black Eyed Susan 2.2's got to be on their mind. You talked to Tommy Roberts afterwards. The horse, I don't think, had to have a very taxing effort, can certainly go on to the Santa Anita Oaks on March the 5th.
Yeah, Tom Roberts, of course, a tremendous horseman. He made reference to the fact that when the horse got down the stretch, started to get out a little bit. According to Tom, it wasn't a question of being tired. He said, I think she got so far in front so quickly, she kind of didn't know what she was doing out there.
Yeah, she's still a young filly, still learning what she's doing, so certainly a lot of room for improvement. And once Joe grabbed a hold of her, she started zigzagging. Again, you know, she probably hadn't had that happen very often, so it's just new stuff. Young fillies learn. She should advance, should move forward to the, hopefully, Santa Anita Oaks on March 5th.
Jason, you call a great game yourself. Well, what was it like to have all these people out here? I mean, there were thousands of people out here. It was a great crowd.
Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes on a Tuesday, a slow, rainy day, I'm out there, I feel like I'm talking to myself. So it's actually good to have a lot of folks out on the apron. And here, they turn to the top of the stretch, hear a big cheer and a roar. It gets me excited, too.
Well, Jason, you did an amazing job. Everybody here at Portland Meadows did a tremendous job. Take a bow.
It was announced this week that 2010 Horse of the Year and 2-time Breeders' Cup champion Zenyatta would be bred to Bernardini. Freddie Head called into Race Day America to discuss Eclipse and Breeders' Cup champion horse Goldikova.
She's gone to stud. She'll have a little vacation at her owner's stud farm in Normandy. And she will be back in my stable in mid-February.
Does she enjoy being laid up, if you will, out in a pasture or however you do it? Or does she like to work? Does she like her job a lot of racing and training?
Well, she likes to work and to race, but a little vacation is good for her. I mean, she needs it, so she enjoys that very much.
Is it more difficult for you to bring her back off a vacation, as if you will, as she gets older? You know, sometimes you can't train a mare as hard. You know, is it difficult getting her weight on, getting weight off, and getting her fit for that first effort?
Oh no, it's not. It's like an athlete. I mean, once she gets back in training, she starts working. She's very easy to train. And weight, she loses weight, and her muscles come back, and well, it will take a month and a half, 2 months' time. She won't run before May anyhow.
Freddie, the last 2 years we've seen her come back off of her Breeders' Cup victories at Longchamp and the Prix d'Isfahan. Will that be the same route that you will take this year in 2011?
Yes, I think so. For the moment, that is the plan. Of course, our main target will be in summer or in the autumn. So we're not in a hurry to run her in the spring. But we'll see. If she's well, she will run the Prix d'Isfahan, yes.
That's all for this week on HRTV. Here's a look at what's coming up next week.